Good morning, and welcome back to Miniature Monday on Gaming with ADHD. Today we're going to take a look at the Clan Command Star for Battletech from Catalyst Game Labs. But first, I do want to give you a little bit of backstory. From my earliest days of learning about Battletech, I have been a fan of the Technical Readout series. On the screen, you're going to see a copy of Technical Readout 3050. This was one of the very first books that I owned for Battletech. Now, this is not my original copy. The corners are a little too sharp, the spine is a little too intact, but I can distinctly remember the hours spent poring over the contents of this book, containing hundreds of pages of rules for the big stompy robots the game is known for. The books were presented as an in-universe guide to military hardware, typically written from the perspective of Comstar in early manuals. The developers would phase in different perspectives as the storyline advanced. On the pages of these books, you would find an artist's rendition of the mech using a sort of technical line drawing, but it would advance to more detailed, more action-oriented art as the game progressed and what we see today. Because the game technically does not even require any figures to play, the art helped solidify the image of the metal behemoth you are about to pilot into battle. Now, this is not to say that miniatures haven't always been a part of the game. In fact, from the earliest edition, Battle Droids, the game included miniatures to play the game with, and in later editions, miniatures were made available to replace the cardboard standees that came with the game. Most often, these miniatures were made of metal and required assembly. But in 2019, Catalyst Game Labs ran the Clan Invasion Kickstarter to help expand their line of pre-assembled plastic miniatures. And one of these sets is the Clan Command Star that we have here. So, what we're going to do is we're going to open this up. We're going to take a little bit of a closer look at the actual figures. But you're probably asking yourself, why am I doing an unboxing and a review of a box of miniatures that you can see everything right through the window? Well, you make a good point. But with that said, there's always been an interesting crossover between the art that we are presented in the technical readouts and other source books and the miniatures that we actually receive. So, with that said, what I've done is I've actually set it up where we can get a 360-degree view of the model, but I'm also going to take a look at some of the art that was given to us when the mech was first introduced to the game, but also some more recent renditions of that same mech. So, before we get started, make sure you subscribe to the channel. I have a few of these sets to review, and I will absolutely be getting more of them as I complete the reviews. If you like what you see here, I would absolutely appreciate a like on the video, and don't forget to comment down below. Let me know which of these mechs is your favorite and why. So, let's get into it. Alright, so first off, we've got our box. It's not too big, about 7 inches by 6 inches. And about 3 inches deep. Okay, as I said, you can see all of the mechs through the window, and they've got a nice piece of art, which is actually from the Clan Invasion box set, printed on the inside of the box. I'm actually a big fan of them doing that. I think it makes it look a little different, a little unique. Alright, so we've got a full star of mechs. The clans run their units in groupings of 5. We have the 100-ton Direwolf, the 70-ton Summoner, the 55-ton Stormcrow, the 25-ton, over here, Lynx, and the 45-ton Shadowcat. Alright, they also give you a set of cards. These include different pilots that have special abilities, also your gunnery and piloting scores in the upper corners. And they actually give you 2. Actually, I think they even give you... Nope, they give you 2 for each mech. Even from different factions, they're going to give you a paint job. So you actually get a lot of fun stuff in the cards. But we have one for each of the mechs, and then we also get cards if you prefer to play with the lighter rule set of Alpha Strike. All right. So I'm going to switch my camera over now, and let's get started. So this is the first image that we were given of the Direwolf, or as I knew it growing up, the Daishi, which we see now on the turntable. This is a 100-ton mech, and basically it was the biggest thing that the clans had to offer. This was a very unique thing that they did. I haven't seen it done anywhere else in the technical readout series, but the initial clan mechs were all given a nose-on sort of blueprint view. So you didn't have any kind of a sense of depth or scale for the particular mech in question. Okay, so this was the original 3050 technical readout, but then in the upgrade version, so this is a more recent version of the technical readout, we got this piece of art. So you get a little bit of a front view combined with a side view. As you can tell, the mech is clearly, twisting its torso to aim off to the side, but it does give you perspective of the sort of hood that this mech has, the massive weapons within the arms, some better definition on the legs. You see that it's got that distinct chicken walker look to it. Now, they've had miniatures for this mech almost from the beginning, but like I said, from the initial art, it was a little bit difficult to get that sense of scale. And then in the current Ill Clan technical readout series, you have, or the recognition guides, I should say, sort of mini technical readouts. This is the art that we get now for the Direwolf, or Daishi, if you're old like me. So, I really like this mech. I think they've captured it very, very well. It looks almost identical to this piece of art that we got from the Ill Clan recognition guide. I've already painted one of these. I painted the Natasha Kerensky special version, and I really like how there's lots of surfaces to work with. It's a very forgiving model, but I like what they did with it. It's a great sculpt and a lot of fun. All right, so let's take the Direwolf out, and we're gonna move down to our next mech, the Summoner, or for us old folk, the Thor. Now, this is a 70-ton mech, called the Thor because it had an autocannon and a particle projection cannon. So basically it was known for thunder and lightning. And as you can see here, we started off with one of the nose-on blueprint style pieces of art. It's got these sort of missile launchers here on its hips, and while they do something similar, it's not quite as defined. I remember having this as a kid. Don't ask me what happened to the model. And I distinctly recall actually having those pieces on the figure. But then when we went to 3050 Upgrade Edition, this was the art that we got for that mech. Now, if you're old like me, like I keep saying, you might have seen the Battletech cartoon, and the Summoner is the mech piloted by Nikolai Malthus from Clan Jade Falcon, and it's sort of one of their signature mechs. It's one of the ones they're known for. I am actually really looking forward to painting this up in some Jade Falcon colors. Well, to be more specific, in Nikolai Malthus colors. But I think that we've then got our Il Clan recognition guide, which this is clearly where they're taking the art from. I think they've done very well with the sculpt. As you can see right here on the left arm, it's got that autocannon, and so it's got the gas ports, and they actually have sculpted that into the model. There's lots of fun little details. You've got oh, my mouse doesn't go over there. That's interesting. So you've got the jump jets on the back of the leg. You've got the LRM 15 on the shoulder. But it's just a big, beefy mech, and it's a fun one. It is a classic, and I really like how they've updated the art on this one. So we'll let him come back around to front, and we will move on to our next one, which is going to be the Stormcrow. Now, this one was interesting. It's actually gone through some significant changes since it was originally introduced. So this is the piece of art that I got back in the early 90s. As you can see, it has these tiny little hands, coming off of the gun arms. To be honest with you, with hands that size, I'm not sure why the clans bothered to add them at all. But again, you have that problem of the nose-on perspective that really doesn't let you know what the mech looks like. So when we go to 3050 upgrade, we get this piece of art, which is a little bit better. It shows, obviously, the little, for lack of a better way to put it, like the container area up here above the mech, but you still have these tiny little hands off to the side, and the laser combos on either arm. But when we go to our Il Clan recognition guide, we get this guy, which is a bit more in line with the model that they produced for the Clan Invasion Kickstarter. Honestly, I really like this version of the mech. Number one, it does make a bit more sense. If you're going to give the mech hands, make them hands that are able to be used. But then it's got the sort of forearm mounted lasers on either side, and it just looks a bit more, for lack of a better way to put it, realistic. I mean, as realistic as you're going to get for a 30-foot tall walking tank. But it's got the distinct chicken legs, and overall is a really good model. I've actually been very happy with all of these models so far. I have currently painted about 30 of them for myself, and so I'm actually That's one reason I'm getting these videos done finally, is because I'm out of things to paint. So I need to get some stuff ready for myself. But overall, I really like this mech, and I like what they did with its sculpt. Alright, our next one is going to be the Mist Lynx. Also known as the Koshi for us old timers. This is a 25-ton mech. Looks like a speedy little guy. Again, we've got our front view blueprint from 3050. But overall, I think they've also made quite a few changes on this one for the art. Now, this from 3050 upgrade does show more of that classic art. Again, giving you some perspective and some, depth to the figure as opposed to just the front-on blueprint. But then we go to this one for our current art. Now, I think it looks a little weird with the giant pods on its forearms, but overall, I don't think it really distracts from the mech. I think they've actually captured it very well in the figure, and overall, again, I think they've done fantastic work on the clan invasion, and I really don't have any complaints. But I definitely like the way that they are taking the art for the game. All right, and then we've got our last mech, the Shadow Cat. Now, this mech first showed up in the Black Thorns scenario pack. They were a mercenary unit during the clan invasion, and so this was its first appearance. And then when it finally got put into a tech readout, we got a little bit of a change by going with this piece of art. Now, this is a little bit closer to the mech that we have now, but they still, they captured that feel. I do like the fact that they didn't keep with the blueprint look. It was fun. It was a different idea, but it definitely made it, a little difficult to understand what the mech looked like. I had many of those miniatures back in the day, but I think getting the better art, or the newer art, was a better choice. Now, this is the version that we get from the Ill Clan Recognition Guide. So this is more along the lines of what they are basing the figure on. It's not as different from the 3058 version, but I think it absolutely, captures the style of the mech. I think it's a fantastic design, and yeah. So there we go. Overall, I think it's a very interesting mix of figures. I do like the fact that the set has a range. I mean, we've got everywhere from 25 tons up to 100 tons. And I think by doing that, it does make it a better purchasing prospect for a player. When I first purchased my original mechs back in the day, I believe it was the Clan Heavy box set, which gave me 4 mechs that were all rated as heavy class mechs. And then the next one I got was the Assault box. And so they were all even heavier mechs. And I think by mixing it up, it does encourage players to try different things, run smaller mechs, run bigger mechs, mix up the unit, which is typically what's presented in the fiction and the different manuals that they put out for the game. So, overall, what did you think? Which of these is your favorite? Let me know down below. And if you like this format where we can take a look at the art in addition to the miniature, you know, I think it's a little bit of an interesting take, and I'd absolutely love to get your feedback on it. So, if you like the video, please do give it a thumbs up, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. I do have more content that I'm going to work on getting out, and I hope you're along for the ride. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next time.